This segment of the CU Podcast is brought to you by Into the AM. Ian, you're looking great in your t-shirt.
My thanks, Pat. You're looking good, too.
You have the Lady Justice shirt. I'm in the Overseer. So Into the AM provide us these shirts, and they make high-quality, premium graphic tees, basic tees, hoodies, and even boxer briefs. They're comfortable, nice fit, nice designs. Frank was jealous of this one because it has the little alien UFO ship on there. He's like, he wanted this shirt.
Yeah, I love this. Bright colors, nice fit. I don't feel like I'm swimming in my t-shirt.
Swim in your t-shirt?
Yeah.
Check out what they have there on the site at Into the AM. They even have long sleeves. They have graphic prints all over the shirt as well, besides your normal t-shirts. And right now, they have a bundle deal for graphic tees. You can get 3 of these tees for $60 or 3 basic tees for $45. On top of that, right now, you can click on the link in the description on YouTube, or if you're listening to the podcast, you can use code CONTRI, C-O-N-T-R-I, and you'll get 10% off comfortable shirts and gear on their site.
It's practically stealing.
Again, 10% off your order at Into the AM using code CONTRI, C-O-N-T-R-I, or click on the link in the description. Go look good and feel good with Into the AM. Ian, we like to celebrate milestones and birthdays.
We like to celebrate 0s and 5s.
For video games.
That's how we do it.
We don't
0s and 5s.
We don't do 11s. We don't do 28. We don't do 32.
This is our 16s. No. 0s and 5s. And it is a 0 anniversary for the Game Boy Advance. It's the Game Boy Advance's 20th anniversary.
Yay!
Yay! That stalwart little handheld, it was released in Japan on March 21st, 2001, and in North America on June 11th, 2001. So close enough. We needed a topic this week. We're discussing it. The Game Boy Advance was the first, I would say, in my opinion, true successor to the Game Boy. There was the Game Boy Pocket, and even the Game Boy Color, which added a color screen and a little bit of there was a little bit of a bump in computational power there, but not a ton. The Game Boy Advance was the first successor to the Game Boy to kind of, I think, refresh itself as something brand new.
Yeah.
It still had backwards compatibility. It would play all the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. And a lot of people were excited at the time. It has the power and it outputs graphics very similar to a Super Nintendo.
I always refer to it as like a Super Nintendo handheld.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
And it was great because you suddenly started to see a lot of Super Nintendo games get remade and put on the system. Things like Donkey Kong Country were on there. Zelda Link to the Past got released on there as part of the Four Swords pack. So, yeah, definitely that power, that level of hardware.
The introductory price was $99.99, $100.
Yep, I remember being amazed that they were selling it for that cheap, and getting one and being immediately disappointed with how bad the screen is.
No backlight.
I knew there was no backlight.
How do you do that on a console, Nintendo? How do you do that on a handheld? I don't know.
2001 was the absolute last time you would be able to get away with it, as evidenced by the fact that the Game Boy Advance SP, I believe, came out only a year later. No more than 2 years, but I think it was a year later. I think it was 2002 sometime, maybe Christmas 2002. Because not having a backlight on a system is bad. But there are certain handheld screens that actually look pretty decent without a backlight.
It was 2 years later, February 2003.
Okay. All right. For instance, the Game Boy Pocket has a really reflective screen. So, like, if you can play that in a room with ambient light and see everything. The Neo Geo Pocket Color was similar, highly reflective screen, good for that. But the Game Boy Color was a real dark one, and the Game Boy Advance, if you're not looking at it directly under a light, you're not seeing.
I remember my cousin, one of the boys who had all the systems. I always bring up the 3 of them. He had a fucking light on his Game Boy Advance to play it.
Yeah,
on his OG Game Boy Advance. I'm looking at this like this shouldn't be a thing. And that's why they had all those ridiculous accessory packs they sold, like the third parties, like Mad Catz. Hey, here's your magnifier and your little fucking reading light attachment and things like that. And it's like this shouldn't be necessary to play a handheld.
Right?
Shouldn't be necessary to do this. That was a big failure, but obviously the game library was robust.
Yeah, the game library. So it was not a great. I liked the form factor of it, but the screen. The fact that it still used AA batteries and didn't have just a built-in rechargeable battery yet, it really was on a weird, really weird borderline system here.
I forgot about that.
But the game library was fantastic. You had the Castlevania, the 2D Castlevania games from Konami, Circle of the Moon, not Dawn of Sorrow, Aria of Sorrow. You had the Advance Wars series. You had the Golden Sun games. You got Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission. Metroid Zero Mission is one of my favorite video games of all time. I just absolutely, I adore Metroid Zero Mission.
I think I played it.
It's so good. It's a remake of the first Metroid, but with extra stuff. So yeah, a lot of good titles, and definitely helped. Obviously, the Pokemon really helped Nintendo during some leaner years with their main consoles. It helped them through the GameCube era, much in the same way that the 3DS helped them through the Wii U era.
Oh yeah, basically, it's a parallel. It's like more people were playing the handhelds.
Yep.
Than their main console by far. So they sold, I guess this includes all of them. They sold 81.51 million as of June 2010. Wow. King of the handhelds, Nintendo.
Just nuts.
Who would have thought that?
Yep.
The lone survivor, basically. Well, definitely by now.
But yeah, I mean, when I look at it now, you know, the lack of a backlight and the need for batteries really bummed me out on it. But this is the story with all of Nintendo's handhelds. You know, low power, low spec on the technology, but they get the support of all the game developers, and that system becomes wildly popular. The PSP had a beautiful, you know, LCD screen, an analog stick, shoulder buttons, used optical media, and it succeeded, but it still failed compared to in comparison to the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, you know, pea soup green screen. Even the 3DS was running on, at that point in time, pretty ancient technology. The resolution on that screen was just, I mean, abysmal. But
there was a ton of games for the Game Boy Advance. There was, what, 2,000 or so?
Who knows?
There's
a lot.
I'll look it up right now. GBA game list.
I know one or two people who have a complete set, or were trying to go for a complete set.
Really?
It's just insane. Yeah.
Because there was shovelware.
Oh, tons of it.
Oh, okay, not 2,000. 1,500. 1498. That's all regions. Holy shit. That's over like a 10-year span.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of games. Here's some of the top ones. When you go down the list of this, it's a lot of like there was a lot of like IPs on there. Mm-hmm. A lot of like TV shows, the time kids shows.
Oh yeah, tons and
movies.
Tons. The DS was even worse with that.
I mean, God, I'll be honest. The GBA is probably out of all the Nintendo consoles, I probably know the least about, because I just was never around it when it came out. By the way, the GBA SP, according to this, was about 43 million. So that's on top of the 81 for the Advance. It's separate.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So that's like 124 million on the same platform.
Yeah, if you
basically.
just look at the same. If you look at it by platform and not by hardware.
I guess that doesn't include the micro. The micro is not as common as the other two. But that's a holy shit. That's nuts. Oh, obviously you rebought it if you were a fan. That makes sense.
Yes.
So here's a list of best-selling ones. We'll run off some of these. Obviously, the first three are Pokemon. Ruby and Sapphire, 16 million, 12 million for Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then Emerald at 7. And then Mario Kart afterwards, of course. Then you have like stuff. This is where it gets weird. You get like all these ports of old games that sold millions, which is shocking to see. Super Mario World sold. That's in 5th place.
Yeah.
That's nuts to me to see that.
Well, I think there was definitely, I meant to say it earlier on, but there was a novelty to the fact at this time.
It was like retro.
There was a novelty to the fact that you could finally carry these games around. This was at a time where things were like the Game Axe were popular on like message boards, like all the weird fly-by-night, NES handhelds and Super Nintendo handhelds. To actually have something official that could do that, I think was a big deal for a lot of people.
You're shocked by it.
Finally carrying console games around in your pocket.
5 is Super Mario World, 6 is Super Mario Brothers 2, and 7 is Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah. Those Super Mario Advance games sold
shocking
like crazy.
Those are the biggest sellers. And then 8 is Namco Museum. And then 9 is Pac-Man Collection. These sold millions.
I think
so
Namco
weird.
Museum and Pac-Man Collection, and they definitely did because we see them all the time at the shop. I think those probably had to have been budget releases upon release.
And then Yoshi's Island's 10, Link to the Past is 11. Again, these are games by this point that are a decade old. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. The original Super Mario Brothers is 13th at 2.27 million. That is nuts to me. Wario Land 4, okay. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. Finding Nemo. That's an interesting one. Another IP. That's 17th place. Wow. Donkey Kong Country is 18th. Legend of Zelda Minish Cap is 19. Yu-Gi-Oh! At 20. Golden Sun 21. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 22. Metroid Fusion, yours 23. Kingdom Hearts 24, Sonic Advance 25, and there's other ones we go down the list. There's like Mega Man Battle, Golden Sun, Disney Princess. So I'm shocked looking at this list. This is like a retro handheld console. A lot of this is like,
yeah, I think it was
not
like
aware.
I said, it was a big deal for a lot of people to be able to go out and buy these games that they could now take portably.
the games that they owned 10, 12 years ago.
That wasn't a common thing then. I mean, that's a very different thing. Now everyone assumes that that's the case, but
you can buy a Chinese knockoff that has all the games built in.
Yeah, you can buy a billion emulator handhelds that have these games included for literally go to AliExpress. You can spend as little as $10 and get 100 shitty NES.
And you see why Nintendo is the company they are with so much money. They put out and made so much. They sold tens of millions of these games. Where, well, just throw the old game on a little Game Boy Advance cart. Throw an emulator on there or whatever. There you go.
Well, to their credit, all the Mario Advance games had extras. They had, they had updated them, especially the Mario 3. Really made use of the e-reader cards, and there was tons of bonus levels and stuff that you could play.
Okay, yeah, they upgraded the graphics.
Yep, the graphics are different. They had save states or save slots to the
Code of Paint. Okay. But still, like that's incredible. I never actually looked at this list before and realized, wow, there's so many of these games that are just older games.
Yep.
And seeing the Pac-Man collection at 9 is so weird. That
is weird to me. I gotta be honest.
I'm thinking like, okay, if I grew up with Pac-Man as a kid, maybe I'm 5-6 years old in 1980. Yeah, I'm only 25 in 2000. 2001, 2002. Yeah, so that makes sense. I'm in that. That's the retro phase, basically, where you start going back to that stuff. So that makes sense, but I'm so shocked because it's a Pac-Man collection. It's like it's not something. Let's see, you got in that one. Now I'm looking. You got the original Pac-Man, Pac-Mania, which is not good. Pac-Attack, okay, and Pac-Man Arrangement, which was an exclusive, which I have no idea that's a thing. So you only got 4 games. So that's a weird array. I'm looking
you
at.
Didn't get much of anything.
And the Namco one. So that's an interesting thing. Okay. Now I'm starting to appreciate the Game Boy Advance in a different direction. I did not realize how much it was for that, like for the retro.
Like how much it skewed in that direction. Yeah, that was
I'm kind of shocked.
Big part of it.
Big, Ian.
Big.
All right, well that's an interesting thing, and obviously the SP is a hell of a lot better than that, especially the 101.
Yeah, and then they did another version.
Yes, they
Nintendo
got it right.
just couldn't get it right.
They had to rebuy it 8 times. And then the Micro, which is cute, but like a novelty. I'd rather the SP 101's the best, obviously.
The Micro is cute, and I do like the games look really sharp on it because you're jamming them into this very small screen.
Yeah.
But they look sharp. But it doesn't do the backwards compatibility.
Oh, that's right. They got
Game
rid of
Boy
that.
Advance SP 101.
That's your peak. That's your peak handheld, right there.
And that's why they're still so popular at work. I mean, you get that, and it's the best way to play a couple decades worth of Nintendo's portable output.
Yeah, you're gonna get what, like 2,500 games, 3,000 games. What is it? It's like 1,500 combined Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, something like that. It's like 3,000 games.
Yep,
that's insane. That's your handheld du jour, Ian. Right there. So anyway, yeah. So happy birthday! You're 1 year away from drinking, but we won't tell you if you sneak a beer. If you sneak a beer at the barbecue, a Game Boy Advance, we won't.
You sneak a shot of Fireball, we won't yell at you.
Do you actually sell original Game Boy Advance consoles still to people, or do they want to get the SP?
No, they still buy them.
They still buy them.
I would have to assume that at this point, a lot of them are being purchased to be modded or half.
Put the backlight on them or to do something with it. That makes sense.
They still sell. They sell as soon as we get them.
Okay.